So last week's episode, we were on the home stretch for getting this old Facebook Marketplace side-by-side brought back to life. We changed the plastics in the first episode, and then last week I was going to do all the new lighting. We installed these big 7-inch Auxbeam V-Series lights on the bar. We installed some underglow lights, and then we started to attempt to install the roof lights. These bad boys right here. I'm going to be running 8 of these across the top. Well, I had to cut that video short because someone at FedEx decided that they wanted half my shipment and literally stole half of the lights out of my shipment. Thank goodness for Auxbeam. I contacted them. I sent them a screenshot of the FedEx. No questions were asked. They overnighted me the items that were stolen out of my package. So thank you, Auxbeam, for doing that. Their customer support is always great, guys. I really, really stand behind the Auxbeam products and their customer service. But this week, we're finally going to finish this job. We've got the wires ran for these front lights. We've got the underglow lights on. And for now, I've just got them kind of mocked up with another battery. We haven't wired everything yet because I wanted to save that for you guys. But as you can see, we've got underglow lights. They come with a remote. If you missed that video last week, definitely go check it out. But before we get started on the build, I do got a huge announcement to make. I changed companies. If you've ever bought merch from me before, the Kayak USA hats or the t-shirts, I had a lot of problems with the last company. I don't have time to ship out stuff and print it, and mail everything out here at home. So I use a print-on-demand company. That company was doing horrible. Some of you guys were taking 6 to 8 months to even get your products in, and I really do apologize for that. However, I nixed it with that company, and I partnered with Fourth Wall. They are a huge print-on-demand company, and I've redesigned some t-shirts and some hats. So real quick, I'm going to do a shameless plug. I've got 2 new designs in. I've got my retro style design, the same as this on my artwork, that new logo that I got. I love the color pattern of that. And on this t-shirt, that is on the front, and it's got the Kayak USA patch on the sleeve. You can pick you up one of those, or you can pick up one of these simple patch style t-shirts. I've got the small patch on the front and the big patch on the back. And I've got several different colors to choose from. I love this OD green. I'm not sure if that's what it's called on their website, but I love this. And I also really love the quality of these shirts compared to the last company that I had. The neck doesn't stretch out. You've got the nice, comfortable neck around. You can feel it up on your neck. It's not all stretched out and baggy like the other ones have been in the past. These are great. So you can pick you up some patch-style t-shirts. Richardson 112 hats. I finally released those. These are actually sewn on. They print these on demand right on the hat. Richardson 112. You can get a few different colors of this as well. And I've already got the hoodies out because I know fall is coming. And I've got 2 different styles. I've got the retro style hoodie with it across the front. And I've also got the patch style hoodie where it's got the patch on the front and the bigger patch on the back. And these things are super soft. I was so glad to get this in the mail. And it took, I think, a week for me to get my order in. I ordered all mine first to make sure I liked it and I was happy with the company. Within 1 week, I had everything that I ordered, my hats, t-shirts, and the hoodies. So they're really quick. Pick you some up. I really don't make a lot of money off this, guys. This is mainly just to get my merch out there for a lot of you guys that's asked about hats and t-shirts in the past. I scale the price down as cheap as I can possibly get on the shirts, hats, and the hoodies. So I probably make $2 or $3 per sale. So I can get it as low for you guys to pick you up some merch. So if you get you some, I really appreciate it. If you've had issues in the past, I apologize, but we should be good to go now. This company's really legit, and they're really fast with their shipping, and I like their quality. All right, shameless plug out of the way. This week, we're going to install the switch panel. I want to go kind of step by step and show you guys how you do this. I've had a lot of questions in the past. These things are amazing. If you're going to put lights on your truck, your side-by-side, your four-wheeler, whatever you have, if you want to run a switch panel to control everything on one touch of a button, this is the way to go. So this is the one we're installing today is the 12-gain multifunction RGB. So it's multiple colors. It's a small touchpad. If you've been with the channel for a while, you know that I run these on just about everything. I run one on the back of my truck for the camping setup. I run one in the cab of my Tacoma for the roof lights and everything. And real quick, we're also going to do the lights, but I want to show you the switch panel and kind of how they work. You get your guide right here. You got an app that you can control this, and this series even comes with a nice remote control, so you can literally control your lights from away from the vehicle or wherever you end up installing them. But you get your sticker, and then you also get what I love So here's the control panel right here. And this is a 12 button. They've also got the skinny ones now where you can put down the A-pillar of your vehicle, where it's just a straight line with like 6 or 4 buttons. They've got an 8 pad, which I've got in my truck. And they got this biggest one here is the 12. And this is just a flat panel. It comes with everything you need to mount it anywhere you want to mount it. And my favorite part is one wire. It doesn't have all of these wires running to this thing. You can see how super thin this is. We're going to install that, but you get to choose where you put your buttons or what you got programmed to each button. You can even program it to do a flash, a steady on, a hold on, or however you want to do it. These are really, really customizable, and you get a full book of decals for your switch panel. So as you can see, these are all different decals, and these are so that you can label the switch anything that you want. I got it upside down, don't I? So you got anything from a sway bar disconnect, your horn, your fridge, your lights, your roof lights, anything that you want, and you can get on their website. They sell different styles of these switch button covers or stickers or whatever you want to call them, and you can get just about anything you want. So no matter what you're wiring your switch to, whether it be a rear refrigerator or whatever, they've got a sticker that'll cover that button. And the cool thing about that is if you change it in the future, if you decide you want to swap that out or connect it to something else, you just remove the sticker and switch it to a new sticker, and then you're good to go. So we're going to be installing that. This is the remote that comes with this thing. Check that out. It's like a heavy-duty remote, on and off switch and everything. That's going to be really cool. Now, I want to show you guys, I'm probably going to have to bring you guys in close because I do want to show you how these wire up. This is going to go under the seat, the driver's side seat of this. I've got an area right up under there where I'm going to be putting my Power Queen mini battery. 12-volt battery. I'm going to run it separate than the regular battery in this because I want the lights to be completely separate. And when you get something like this, what you get is all the wire you need. If I don't knock everything off the table, you get all the wire you need, a 20-foot cable. So this is the cable that's going to plug to your switch panel. And then this other end right here runs to wherever you decide to mount this. I mean, not your switch panel, your fuse to the switch panel. Really simple. It even comes with your inline breaker. This comes with a 100 amp breaker, push-on breaker. And then here is the fuse panel. Let me pop it open. If I can do it. There it goes. Look how clean this is. Super sleek. Let me walk around here so you guys can actually see it. So here is the switch panel you get. And you can see how thin it is. It's got mounting locations, and it comes with brackets, so you can literally mount this under the hood of your truck, under the seat of your UTV, wherever you want to mount it, and you just wire it straight in. Everything is numbered and color-coded. These numbers right here represent the buttons on the switch controller. This guy right here, so say this is the number 1 button right here where my thumb's at. This button is going to be controlled to this wire. So whatever lights you run to this wire, you got your plus and your minus. These are fused right in place. So if I run my rock lights to number 1, I find the sticker on my little packet over there that says rock lights, and I put it right there on number 1. And then you can program that number 1 to push on once and it turns them on, push it again, it turns them off. You can program it to push it once and it flashes the lights. Like if you wanted this on a roof light that flashed or something, you could do that. Or you can have it to where it's a push and hold. So when you're holding the button down, it'll activate it, and then when you let off. So you can program these individually, which is really cool. But I really like how they designed their switch panel. This one does have the RGB built into it. So it's got the little receiver right here for the remote, and you can change the colors of the buttons and stuff like that. This is what we're going to be mounting under the seat. This alone will tie straight to the battery, and then all of our lights are going to come into this. So, you know, we've got 10 rock lights up under here, but we've only got the 1 wire. That 1 wire is going to tie into one of these spots. Then we got these lights. These are going to tie into one spot. We got our roof lights. I put a kingpin light inside, and then everything is going to run to this. They make it easy, guys. So if you've been on the fence about doing it or ordering one of these because you're not sure if you can do it, I promise you, if I can do it, you guys can do it. I promise. It comes with a really nice case, and it is super slim, so you can literally mount this wherever you want. You get all the mounting brackets that you need. They even now come with a little dust shield protector. So if you are mounting this switch panel like me on a side-by-side or something, they used to not come with these, and I thought it was really cool that they added these. And all it is like a little silicone connector cover. I mean, push button panel cover, and it just kind of pops over it. So you can still operate it through it, but if you're going through mud or something like that, you know you're going to be really muddy. To keep from getting mud and grime all over this actually pops right over the front and protects it, and you can still operate it through it, and it'll save the life of your switch panel if you're throwing rocks and stuff up at it. Whatever you put this on. Stick it on a four-wheeler you can, and now you can cover it with that. But we're going to get that installed. Our roof lights, like I said, are finally here. Thanks to Auxbeam for figuring out what went wrong and helping me get this stuff overnighted really quick. I got everything that we need in finally. And today we're going to start off with installing these guys right here. This is the V Ultra Series 3-inch pod lights, and they are identical to these except for they're 3 inches. They have the same functions. Like these big ones right here have the 2 modes. So you got your daytime running, which is amber lights that run down these little bars, and then you got your spotlights right on the front with your little side beams that shoot out through the side. So we're actually going to get 2 buttons out of this and 2 buttons out of this, because I want 1 button to control my DRLs, my daytime running lights, which are the amber lights, and then 1 button to control the main lights. Or if I want to run them all, you just hit, both buttons together and you can run everything. That's how I did it in my truck, and it worked out really good. So we're going to wire these up today. I got 8 of these. I'm going to mount them in that T-track that you guys watched me fab up this week. We're going to run them through here, and I'm thinking they're going to mount something like that. I'm going to separate them, measure out so they all look good. And once that's done, we'll have 1 wire that comes down, because I knew I was going to run the 8 lights. And if you go that route, if you know you're going to tie them all together, instead of having separate wires for all your lights, you can actually order this guy right here. This is for the 8 light roof light bar, or whatever this thing is going to be called, the 8 pod lights that I'm going to be running. And I think you can also run it in 6 and 10, maybe. You'll have to check the website. I know that you can run different options other than just 8. But all it is it's a harness designed to do just that. So this is going to run behind this, and each of these waterproof plugs, where'd I set my light? Each of these waterproof plugs right here are going to plug to one of these all the way down through there. And then at the end, coming right down that little pillar bar, all I've got is 1 plug wire that's going to connect to my main harness, and it's going to go straight down. And if you wanted to do this and not run a switch controller like I'm going to be running, it does come with its own button. We're going to cut that button off. We're not going to use it. And I'm going to show you how that works. And this is the same if you're going to wire up any lights. If you're going to switch to a controller, you don't need all of this because you're going to be using the controller. But this is the other half of the harness that this comes with. It comes with your relays tied in right here, a built-in fuse, and a really long, so you can mount it wherever you want to, and it's disconnectable right there, so you can pop it off and run your wires so you can hide everything. But it comes with its own on and off button, and this will also control the mode, so you can hit it to control just your DRLs, or if you want to run your big fog lights off the front, so you can control that with this. We're not going to use this, and the way this is going to work, we're going to be able to delete just about all of this wire. So all we're going to need is the main red and black wire that comes off of this, and that is going to tie directly to our fuse box, and that goes for all the lights that we're installing. So that harness is going to run to this. We're going to cut this down so it's just 2 wires that run down to our red and black on our button, and then we'll be able to control all the lights, the daytime running lights, the underglow lights, even the kingpin light that I installed on the inside. We're going to get that all wired up today, finally. And then we're going to take this thing out on the trail tonight and see how bright these lights actually are. I do want to walk you guys around it real quick, because if you've noticed, it does look a little bit different. I've got a couple of new things from Massimo that I'm installing, and I've kind of already stuck one on because I put it on to show it to you, and that's this cab enclosure. They sell this full cab enclosure that for the wintertime, this thing is going to be great in the woods to keep some heat in, to keep the rain and stuff out. And what it does is it's a fabric with windows, and it just attaches right to the frame above the half doors. So you got a full cab enclosure. It's really cool, but I'm gonna show it to you really quick, and then I'm gonna take this back off because I'm also gonna be installing this guy right here. They offer this. This is a rear molly panel kit, and you can't run this in conjunction with the top. I could rig it up so that it goes over the top, but since I'm not going to be running that top or that enclosure during the summer because it's just too freaking hot, I'm going to remove that, put it up, and this winter when we're hunting, I'll swap these out and put my cab enclosure on. But today we're going to be running this guy. This goes to the back of the cab, and it comes with these molly panel attachments, so you can mount stuff like an axe or Rotopax or whatever. It comes with like these quick fist guide mounts, and then we're going to stick those on, and I think that's it, y'all. The wiring is going to be the main part of this video today, just trying to get all this wiring done. But let me show you how it turned out. Oh yeah, and do you see the decals? I got the decals on finally. I stuck the new decals on this week because this thing was just looking naked without the Massimo decals. So let me walk you guys around it, show you the enclosure, and then we'll get to wiring this stuff up. I tell you what, after adding those graphics on the side, this thing does look like a brand new side-by-side. It's hard to believe that it looked like this when I picked it up off Facebook Marketplace, and I was able to, just by changing the plastics, throwing the doors on and the new graphics, turn this thing into looking brand new. And I did pick up some stuff. I'm going to try to dress up all this black plastic. I tried some on this front panel. You can kind of tell it worked pretty good. It's like a ceramic for faded black plastic. I did that panel right there, and I'm going to try to do the rest of this stuff too, so that by the time I pull it out of the shop, it's going to look brand new. But check out the cab enclosure. So it's a quick connect. It's got these Velcro straps that go around your roll bar all the way up, and the same for the back. And then the side panel is actually Velcro to this back panel. It's got clear plastic so you can see out of it. And I've got this side rolled up so you can see you can still get in and out by keeping it on. You don't have to take it off. And the window just rolls up and you can Velcro it up out of the way. This side over here, I've got the window down so you can see how it looks with the window down. Check that out. And it's even got the little corner window right here. So when you unzip this top half and roll it up, you can roll it up or you can completely take it off. But I like how they add that little Velcro strip at the top so you can just roll it up. I'll show you how it looks on the inside. You can see that up there. It just rolls right up and Velcros to itself. And now it's completely closed in here. I mean, it's not completely airtight. You know, there's still these little gaps and stuff around the windshield. But during the winter, having this enclosure is going to be absolutely amazing. I might end up even putting me a heater in this thing this winter. I seen that they carry some on the new models, so I might have to put me a heater in this thing, especially for trail riding up in the mountains. But the graphics I put on, check them out. They look fantastic. I love that little touch of hunter orange they've got in that one. And there's also a graphic. I didn't put it on. I'm still debating on putting it on or not, but they also have the graphic that goes down the hood. I think I've got it laying right over here. It's this guy right here. And it goes down on the hood, but I might end up putting this somewhere else since I have the option now to kind of put them where I want them. But it's designed to, not like that. It's designed to go down like that. But I kind of like the hood clean without it. So we're going to find somewhere else to put this one. But how awesome does that look? So before I get started on the lights, I'm going to go ahead and pop off this cab enclosure because I'm going to put it up until it gets cold enough to actually need it outside. That way it's still like new this winter when I pull it out of the box to stick it back on. And then we'll put the molly panel on, and then we'll move on to the lights. That way we got everything out of the way and I can just focus on running the wires and getting everything wired in. And I'll show you where I'm mounting my Power Queen mini battery. I love those little Power Queen batteries. You'll see it in just a minute. If you're familiar with the channel, you know that I run those Power Queen mini batteries on everything. And I've got a link and a discount code for those batteries. A lot of you guys ask about which batteries I like because I've worked with a lot of different companies on the channel for different batteries over the years. But hands down, those little mini batteries from Power Queen, those are the best. You can fit them just about anywhere. And they work. Like this one I'll probably charge like once this winter and it'll run all these lights, you know, with no problem. But let me get this cab enclosure off and then we'll move on to that molly panel. So I got the cab enclosure off, put up until wintertime. Now I'm gonna spin this thing around so we can get that molly panel installed real quick. I love having these casters. It makes doing stuff like this inside so much easier. I don't knock my motorcycle over. Let's see. Y'all should be able to see that right there. Now, this is designed to bolt right up, I believe, to the rear roll cage back here. And it's even got a cutout, so if you're still running like a rear view mirror, you can still see through it. So this is gonna go in here, something like this, and it comes with the hardware to be able to bolt it up. Let me stick it right there for now. It comes with the hardware that should bolt it straight to that. I don't think there's any drilling or anything involved. It's got these standoff brackets, and they're already got the nuts welded to them, so these should bolt right on there. 3 standoff brackets and all the bolts and nuts we need. So let's get this thing bolted up. Molly panel is installed. Check that out. I grabbed a couple of my overlanding things down here just to throw in there so you can see how good it looks and how much it'll haul. I got a little shovel, little axe, our water roto pack I've got hanging up here. But like during hunting season, I'll be able to throw a rifle back here or a shotgun or whatever. I'll be able to strap it to the back there and it be secure because these things aren't going to go anywhere. It was just 4 bolts to bolt this thing on. It will confuse you if you go to add one of these because it comes with way more than 4 bolts. But after digging and trying to figure out how to do it, I figured out that these are kind of versatile. So it's going to come with extra hardware for, you know, their other UTVs that they can mount to, I guess. But you can see it on the inside here, and it still has that opening right there. So if you're running a rear view mirror, you can still see through it. It don't like block the view. But I'll probably end up adding a rear camera for the kayak trailer at boat ramps and stuff. But what do y'all think? That thing looks really cool. It kind of changed the whole look of the back end of this thing. And I can even get a chainsaw mount to slide up on that roto pack. I mean, not the roto pack, the molly panel, so that I can haul the chainsaw back there on the property when I need it to clear some limbs or some trees. And it is solid as a rock. It ain't gonna go anywhere. Now, finally we can get to the wiring and these front lights, and that is the last piece of this puzzle for getting this thing fixed up. I can't wait to see how those lights look up there. Let's spin this thing back around, because we're gonna have to measure out, and I wanna space these lights evenly all the way across. Let's see if I can get it turned around there so we can see what we're doing. I wanna be able to mock them up and bolt them all the way across evenly. Where'd I put the light? There it is. And then I want to angle them and get them all just right. I went with a 3-inch on the top. My truck has the 5-inch, but I think these 3 inches are going to look good because they're not going to be too big and they're not going to stick above the top. So if I brush trees and stuff, it's going to hit the roof before it gets the lights. So now let me take a measurement, get these bolted in. The cool thing about doing it the way I did with this T-track is we'll be able to just slide the bolts down in the track, and 1 bolt for each of these, and then just tighten them up, and I can slide them and space them how I want them. So let me get that knocked out, and then we'll finish up with the wiring finally. All right, y'all, it is the next day and they are installed, and I got this thing spotless. It is probably the cleanest right now than it will ever be again. I did want to get it cleaned up while I had it in here and I was doing all these mods, so I thoroughly detailed it. I did put that black stuff, that ceramic stuff. It did really well on a lot of the plastic, but you can tell the more sun hit areas, like the top right here, was pretty faded, but it looks 10 times better than it did. As you can see, I got all of the lights mounted up. I got a good even spacing across them. I got the caps on right now, but I'm fixing to pull the caps off because I've also went ahead and got everything wired up last night. I was out here till about 9 o'clock getting everything wired. I tried to film that, but it wasn't going to be great because it's such a tight spot. And with me working in there, I had the camera set up and it wasn't worth filming that. But now that I got it installed, I can kind of walk you through it, show you how I mounted the fuse panel, the battery, how I'm going to charge it, and how everything works. The switch panel is installed, and I've got it in a really sweet spot. Let me show you. I do think I made the right decision with going with the 3-inch lights for the roof and the bigger ones for the front bar, because it evens it out. Those look like they were just meant to be there. If I'd have went bigger, I think it would have just been too much on the front, and just having those 8 across the top with those two in the front look really, really good. And most of the time, you know, during the day, I can run with these protectors on. It protects the lenses and it looks good up there. But when it's time to trail ride, I can pop all these covers off and we can run the lights. I'm gonna pop them off in just a minute and show you, but I wanna show you how well this thing cleaned up. Look at that black plastic. It got it really, really clean. I mean, compared to what it was, this thing was rough. You can see the difference. The inside of the bed is what all the plastic did look like, and now it all turned out like this here. It looks really good. A lot of it's still kind of wet. I've been putting that ceramic coat stuff on all day. I did all of the interior, and you should be able to see it really well in just a minute because I've got everything wired up and we can run that inside light. But I decided to mount the switch controller right in the top, right where the rear view mirror would be. And I think it's going to be nice right there. Since I probably won't run a rear mirror, I'm going to do a backup camera in the future with a screen down here. That's a good spot, and it keeps it from cluttering up down here on the dash. But I guess I can go ahead and show you the inside. So I even cleaned the seats up. Those things turned out pretty clean. But this is where I've got everything mounted. As you can see, I got the Power Queen battery strapped down. I've got the fuse box there. I've got the breaker here, and I'm going to go ahead and kick on the inside light so I can show you that a little bit better. But I guess before I do, I can show you how I did it. So when you wire these up in a vehicle, they come with a wire that you should run to an ACC, you know, an auxiliary port, so that when you turn the key on, it gives power to the box, and then this doesn't stay powered up all the time. When you're going to do it in something like this, in an application where you're going to be putting it on its own battery source, you can run it like I did to a switch. And there was already a hole here where somebody had something mounted in the past, so I just opened the hole up a little bit. And now if I flip this switch on, it gives power to my panel. So now I've got my switch panel here, and I'm gonna go ahead and kick on the interior light right there, because now you can see we got plenty of interior light. This is a kingpin, and it's flexible so I can aim it where I want it, but now we can use it to actually see the inside. And you can see how well this stuff does. That ceramic stuff, you see where I stopped right there, the difference. And I've got one sheet left, and I'm gonna try to wipe down the front in there, but I wanted to use as much as I could on the top stuff. This thing's gonna be dirty before long anyway, especially the floor, so I wouldn't focus too much there, but it cleaned up really, really good. So now I'll show you under here really quick. You can see there wasn't a ton of room, but I did try to wire manage pretty good. I got everything kind of zip tied up. Here's where I stuck the fuse box. I've got it mounted to the seat post, and it gets it up away from the ground. That way, if I do get into any water, as long as I don't submerge it all the way up to the seat, I should be good. And there's everything I got wired up, and I'm wired all the way to here. So I still got all these extra buttons, and I'm gonna show you on the switch panel. I got plans for those in the future when I start adding more stuff. I put the breaker switch right here. I got it up high away from the ground, and I've got our Power Queen mini battery strapped right there. But this worked out really good, having that little spot, because I can quickly check the fuses if I need to, if I have an issue, and I can pop the seat forward and plug the battery up. I am going to put an Anderson connector on the battery so that I can just plug it up, you know, in the garage and charge that battery. This is, you know, a separate battery than the running battery, so I'll have to charge it separately. Now let me show you the switch panel. Let me get in here. So I've got it mounted right up at the top, and I've got most of these wired up all the way to the rock lights. These are things that I plan to add in the future. So I got our bumper lights, that's the big 7-inch lights. I've got our roof lights, that is all of our 8 3-inch lights. But those little amber bars, the DRLs that's on all of them, I wired them all together. The 2 7-inches and the 3-inchers all are wired to this. So when I hit this button, all the amber lights come on. This, of course, is our interior light. As you can see, I can turn it on and off, and it turns on our kingpin. This is for our rock lights. And then these buttons, I plan to do some amber chase lights for trails when it's dusty. I'm putting a radio in, so I'm going to put it on this button. I'm going to add some pillar lights, like on my truck, my little ditch lights in the future. So I'm going to put those there. I'm going to add a rear cargo light to the back. I went ahead and put that sticker there. And then I've got 2 extra ones here in this aux button. I'm going to use the aux button for a power port in the bed, so that when I want to run my sprayer on the property, I can just throw it in the bed and just plug it up, and then I can control it with that aux button. And here is the controller, and this thing works from all the way across the room. I'm going to show you how it works when we pop all those caps off. But I can just kind of, let's see, which number is the interior lights? Number 4. As you can see, it turns our interior lights on and off. And I've also got an app for this thing. I'll grab my phone in a minute and show you how you can use the app to control all the colors and program this to exactly how you want it. I love how easily these covers pop on and off. The only downfall is if you're going to take them off when you go trail riding, you got to make sure you got a bag or something to keep them in, because you don't want to take them off and end up losing them on the trail or in the woods somewhere, or you can just pop them off at home before you leave. This is going to be the first time I've turned these lights on without the covers on. You really don't want to turn the lights on with these covers on, because they will get hot and they will melt through these covers pretty easily. I think I heated up the one on my ditch slide on my truck the first day I turned it on. I forgot that I had the cover on, and I turned it on, and within about 2 or 3 minutes it got really hot and warped one of the covers. So you don't want to do that. But I'll probably just keep me a bag on the inside on that molly panel that I can throw all these in. Man, that looks so much cooler without the covers on. So I've got the apps downloaded, and I'll show you this one. So I've actually got this one set up for 2 different panels. I've got it programmed for my truck panel and then this panel, and I just open the app and I choose which panel I want to go with. But as you can see, it looks just like, I think if I turn it sideways, there you go. It looks just like how it looks in the truck. And this is where you can control the color of the pad on the truck. And when I'm changing this here, it's also changing those colors. Hopefully you guys can see that without too much glare. When I change this, see how it's changing the colors around the buttons. And now I can turn the interior light on and off just by touching that. Let me turn it sideways so you guys can see it. Now we can hit DRLs. Holy cow. Hopefully y'all can see those. Let me turn you straight on. I don't want to blind everybody because I know this is going to be bright. How cool is that? So that is my DRLs. I got them all together. One touch of a button turns them on. Now, I'm not going to look into the light, but this is going to be my roof lights. Goodness. I looked up to the light. We'll turn it back off. Now I can't see anything but a bunch of spots. I'm going to turn the bumper lights on. This is the 7-inch. I got them aimed down. Oop, I hit the camera. Let me back y'all up some. I got them aimed down a little bit so they'll light up the trail. Man, that's going to be a lot of light. Now I'm going to hit them all together. That is going to be a ton of light. Goodness, I'm going to turn the camera sideways so it's not just straight into it and glaring it. Look at that, y'all. That is super bright. And now you can see, I'm going to try to do this from behind the camera. I can turn the rock lights on. And the rock lights, they've actually got their own app. So first, let me turn off the roof and the bumper lights. So now I've got the rock lights on, and I can open up the rock light app. Where's it at? Right here. And now I can change the color of the rock lights. So I can brighten them. I got them chose. Oh, I got to choose them. All right, there's the rock lights. So I can change the color just by touching the button here. You can see they're changing up under there. I can go to red. You can set them up to strobe. You can set them up to go with, let's see, if you turn the strobe on, you can set up the brightness, the speed of the strobe, change the color. And then you can also turn the strobe off, and you can set it up with music so that it just listens. I don't know what that is. I think it's just like pre-programmed stuff. Or you can set it up where it listens to my voice, and as you can see, it's changing colors as I'm talking. But there's all kind of really cool functions. Like they've got a presets where you can just scroll through here and set up different presets, or you can just manually choose how you want it and just change the color. Let's go back to our other app here. So now we got this app, and it's got all the buttons exactly. You program this exactly how you want it. So you can, when I add stuff to these last two, I can just open the app, find the decal that I placed inside there, and then I can quickly use it with that. Let me show you the other remote. So this is the big remote that it come with, and it's got like a lanyard on it. And this is just like a heavy duty remote I'll keep in the glove box, but it'll just control by the number of the buttons. So we know number 2 is our roof lights, Goodness, that's bright. Number 1 I've got on my bars. 4 is the interior, so I can turn it on and off now just by pushing this button. What was 5? 5 was the rock lights. Okay, where was my DRLs? Were they 3? There they are. Here's the DRLs. I can turn the rock lights off. Those DRLs are awesome. That's going to be really cool for just trail riding when it's not too dark. So my plan for this video, I was going to actually end it out on the trail. We were going to go do some trail riding, and you could actually see this outside. But it's raining again. It's another thunderstorm out there. It's a turd floater out there right now. And since I just finished cleaning it up, I really don't want to push it outside and just immediately stick it in the mud. So hopefully you guys got to see everything in this video. If you've never seen a Massimo before, this T-Boss 550, if you've just heard of that from my video, be sure to check them out. You can actually order these straight from their website. You don't have to deal with a local dealer. You don't have to go anywhere to pick it up. You can literally go on MassimoMotor.com, pick out the UTV that you want. They've got a bunch of different ones. They got ATVs and stuff like that. Do all of the financing with them if you wanted to, or if you just wanted to buy it, and they'll ship it directly to your house. They do the tax and the title, everything online, so you don't have to go anywhere. And 0% APR financing for 36 months right now. So if you was to finance this for 36 months, you'd pay 0 interest. So you could just go there and they'll ship it directly to your door. Or if you would rather pick it up at a local dealer, they'll ship it to a local dealer too. So that's pretty cool. MassimoMotor.com is where you can get that. I'm also going to have all the Auxbeam stuff that I showed you in this week's video, the lights, the switch panel, everything that I installed will be linked below, and I've got discount codes with Auxbeam. So pick you up some lights, install it. Don't be afraid to install that. It's super easy, and you can put these things on anything you want. It don't just have to be like this. I've got them on kayak trailers. I've got them on camping trailers, the back of my truck, the inside of my truck, and now I've got a set on my Massimo T-Boss 550 here. So this thing is going to be really cool. I'm also going to have links to everything else that I use. So these casters, I've been getting a ton of questions about these casters where we can kind of spin this around. I got those off Amazon. They work great. I actually got them for my Chevy project so that I could move the Chevy around in the garage, but they work great for this as well. So I'll link that below. The Power Queen battery, that thing is a must. If you're going to add a deep cycle battery to something and you need a mini size 100 amp hour battery, that's the way to go. I got a discount code with them as well, so that link will be in the video description. We're going to ride this thing very soon. This won't be the last time you've seen it, but this is the last fix-up video. Unless we install something later on in the future, I might share it with you, but that is going to do it. That's going to conclude the build of my Facebook Marketplace Massimo T-Boss 550. Be sure to go check them out if you're interested. You've never heard of them. They've got a lot of really cool stuff on their website. If you're new to my channel, I upload every Monday at 6 o'clock. Don't forget, new merch. If you want to support the channel, shop kayakusa.com. You can get you really cool t-shirt. I've got my OD green one on today. I love these new shirts. Go get you one of those at the new website. I appreciate all the support. I upload every Monday at 6, guys, and I will catch you next week. Peace.